Now students, today we will again discuss about fractions, and fractions are one of the most common terms used in maths. To determine the parts of a whole object, there are basically 6 types of fraction such as proper fraction, improper fraction, mixed fraction, like fraction, unlike fraction and equivalent fractions. So dear students, we already discussed about proper, improper, mixed fraction and equivalent fractions. Now we will again discuss these all fractions here. So the types of fractions are classified based on the numerator and denominator of the fraction. We are going to discuss here in this article all the types of along with definition. Different types of fraction. A fraction can be considered to be the ratio of two numbers. The upper number is called numerator and the lower part is known as the denominator. When a whole of something is divided into the number of parts, then each part is referred to as fraction. A typical example of how the concept of fraction works is illustrated in the below figure. Example here, like this cake. So if you make a half part from this side of this cake, so we say that this part is known as half of this cake, right? And after that we again divide like this. So we say that this part is known as 1/4 of the cake. Now here we considered another example here. Like this pizza. So here we divide this pizza into 8 equal parts, and if we take one part out of these all 8 parts, so we say that the fraction we take here 1/8, and each part is known as 1/8 of the pizza. So here 1 is numerator and 8 is denominator. Now students, proper fraction, a fraction where the numerator is less than the denominator, then it is known as proper fraction. That is, numerator is smaller as compared to denominator. Now here we take one example here, like 3/5. 3 is numerator here and 5 is denominator. 3 is smaller as compared to denominator. So these type of fraction are known as proper fraction. Now there is one important note here. The value of fraction after further simplification is always less than 1. Now students, here we will discuss improper fraction. A fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator, then it is known as an improper fraction. So if the numerator is greater as compared to denominator. So these type of fraction are known as improper fraction. Now here we take one example here, like fraction 9/5. So 9 is numerator here and 5 is denominator. Now here we compare these two numbers, numerator and denominator. So we observe 9 is greater as compared to 5. So if we say that these type of fraction where the numerator is greater as compared to denominator, so these type of fraction are known as improper fraction. Now the natural numbers, there is important note also. All the natural numbers can be represented in the form of fractions where the denominator is always equal to 1. The simplification of an improper fraction result in the value which is equal or greater than 1 but not less than 1. Now students, here we will discuss mixed fraction. A mixed fraction is a combination of a natural number and fraction. So basically mixed fraction having two parts, one is a whole part and one is fraction part, and it is basically an improper fraction. Now here we take one example here, and how we read out this fraction number, 2 whole 1/3 is a mixed fraction, right? One important note here, mixed fraction can always be converted into a proper fraction. An improper fraction can be converted into a mixed fraction, and a mixed fraction is always greater than 1. Now students, here we will discuss like and unlike fractions. What are the like fractions? The fraction which have the same denominators are called like fractions. For example, like 1/2, 3/2, 5/2, 7/2 are like fractions. Why these all are like fractions? Because these all having the same denominator, and what are the denominators in these all fractions? 2, right? So the simplification of such fractions is easy, as all the denominators here are the same. Suppose we need to add all the above like fractions, then we add like this: 1 upon 2 plus 3 upon 2 plus 5 upon 2 plus 7 upon 2. And when we add these all like fractions, then we take 2 as a common denominator and we add these all numerators with each other, right? Like 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. So we add these all numerators. What are the sum of these all numerators here? 16 upon 2. And we also write this 16 upon 2 in its simplest form. So when we divide this 16 by 2, we get 8. 2 8s are 16. And like fraction also help us to find the greater fraction out of given 2 or more fractions. Now, unlike fractions, the fractions which have unequal denominators or different denominators are called unlike fractions. For example, 1 upon 2, 3, 1 upon 3, 1 upon 4, 1 upon 5 are unlike fractions. Simplification for such fractions is a little lengthy method, since we need to factorize the denominator first and then simply them in case of addition and subtraction. So now suppose we have to add 1 upon 2 and 1 upon 3. Then first we will find the LCM of 2 and 3, which is equal to 6. Right? When we find the LCM of 2 and 3, and when we find the LCM of 2 and 3, we get LCM 6. Now we need to multiply 1 upon 2 by 3 and 1 upon 3 by 2. Why? Because we change these unlike fractions into like fractions, both in the numerator and denominator here. So the fractions become 3 upon 6 when you multiply 1 upon 2 by 3, and when you multiply 1 upon 3 by 2, we get 2 upon 6. Now if we add these both fraction 3 upon 6 and 2 upon 6, we get 3 upon 6 plus 2 upon 6 equal to 5 upon 6. So what we do here we add these two fractions. So here we take 6 as a common denominator, and after that we add 3 plus 2, and 3 plus 2 equal to 5. So we get 5 upon 6. So dear students, we already discussed equivalent fractions in our previous class, but here we again discuss this topic again here. So when two or more fractions have same result after simplification, do they represent the same portion of the whole, then such fractions are equal to each other and are called equivalent fractions. For example, 1 upon 2 and 2 upon 4 are equivalent, and 1 upon 3 and 3 upon 9 are equivalent. Why these two fractions are equivalent here? Because when we find the simplest form of 3 upon 9, this fraction, so we get 1 upon 3, which is equal to 1 upon 3. Now after that, when we find the simplest form of 2 upon 4, here we get 1 upon 2. Because when we divide these both numerator and denominator by 2, we get 1 upon 2. Now here we discuss some examples here related to equivalent fractions. Let us see some examples here based on the fractions types. Now example of proper fractions like 2 upon 3, 2 upon 4, 2 upon 5, 1 upon 2, 4 upon 7, 7 upon 5, 7 upon 9, etc. So numerator is smaller as compared to denominator. So these type of fractions are known as proper fractions. Now example of improper fractions. So you all know that in these type of fractions, numerator is greater as compared to denominator. So now here we discuss some example here: 3 upon 2, 4 upon 2, 5 upon 2, 7 upon 4, and so on. The other examples. Right? Now we will discuss examples of mixed fractions. Mixed fractions, like, because you all know that mixed fraction having two parts. One is whole number and the second one is fraction part, right? And how we read out this number, this mixed fraction number: 4 whole 2 upon 3, 2 whole 2 upon 5, and 1 whole 1 upon 3, etc. Now students, after that we solve some questions related to like and unlike fractions, and here we will solve some questions related to comparison of fractions. Now students, here we solve exercise number 7.4. The first question is, write shaded portion as fraction, arrange them in ascending and descending order using correct sign, smaller, equal, greater and between the fractions. Right? So what we do here first we write the fraction of these all shaded parts in the first figure and the second figure same as. So now first we write the fraction of the first figure. So there are 3 shaded parts and out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here we write 3 upon 8 is the fraction of first figure. What is the fraction of second figure? So what are the total number of shaded part? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 shaded part out of 8. Now what are the total number of shaded part here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 upon 8. And after that, one shaded part here. So if we write 1 upon 8. Now students, the question is, here we arrange these all fractions in ascending as well as in descending, right? And you all know that which fraction is greater in like fraction? The fraction having greater numerator. So out of these all, which fraction having greater numerator? 6 upon 8. This one is greater than 4 upon 8, then 3 upon 8 and last one 1 upon 8. So if we write these all fraction in ascending order, so first we write 1 upon 8, comma 3 upon 8, comma 4 upon 8, comma 6 upon 8. Right? Now in a descending order, so we write first greater fraction here 6 upon 8, then 4 upon 8, then 3 upon 8 and then 1 upon 8. Now student, the second question is homework for you, and you will solve the second question in your book and you copy down question number first, the first part of this question in your fair notebook. Now we will solve second question here. So 2 upon 6, comma 4 upon 6, comma 8 upon 6 and 6 upon 6 on the number line, and put appropriate signs between the fractions given. So now students, you all know that how to represent the fractions on the number line, because in previous exercises we already done these type of questions. Now here we comparize these all fractions here, and dear students, you all know that in a like fraction, which fraction is greater? The fraction having greater numerator. So now out of these two numbers, which fraction is greater here? 5 upon 6. 5 upon 6 is greater as compared to 2 upon 6, because these both fraction having the same denominator. But which fraction having greater numerator here? The first fraction 5, right? So if we say that this fraction is greater as compared to 2 upon 6. Now 3 upon 6 and 0. 3 upon 6 or 0, which one is greater? 3 upon 6 is greater, right? Now 1 upon 6 or 6 upon 6, right? 6 upon 6 is greater. Now 8 upon 6 and 5 upon 6, right? 8 upon 6 is greater. Okay, after that the second question is, so you will just solve this question in your book and you will copy down the second question in your fair notebook and solve these all 4 parts of this question in your fair notebook, right? After that, which one is greater out of these two numbers? 5 upon 6 is greater. Then B part, 1 upon 7 and 1 upon 4. So dear students, this is also a like fraction, but here we have same numerator. In this case, when the numerators are same, which fraction is greater? The fraction having smaller denominator. So out of these two fractions, which fraction having smaller denominator? So the second fraction, this 1 upon 4. So if we say that 1 upon 4 is greater as compared to 1 upon 7. Now C part of this question, 4 upon 5 and 5 upon 5. Which fraction having greater numerator here? This 5. And because when we find the simplest form of this 5 upon 5, because these both numbers, numerator and denominator, divisible by 5. 5 ones are 5 and 5 ones are 5. Here we get 1. And 1 is greater as compared to 4 upon 5. Now after that, 3 upon 5 and 3 upon 7. Because these both fraction having same numerator. And you all know that when the numerator are same, the fraction having smaller denominator is the greater fraction. So if we say that 3 upon 5 is greater as compared to 3 upon 7. Now students, 3 and a 4 question is homework for you. So make 5 more such pairs and put appropriate signs. Okay, with the same as like this question. Now this is homework for you. Here we solve the same question. We put greater and smaller and equal symbol. Now here we solve question number 5. How quickly can you do this and fill appropriate sign? Now here we solve question number 5, a part of this question. Now dear students, you all know that because when the numerators are same, which fraction is greater? Fraction having smaller denominator. So this fraction having smaller denominator like 2 and 5. So if we say that 1 upon 2 is greater as compared to 1 upon 5. Now here we solve the second B part of this question. So first we find the simplest form of this fraction. So here we write 2 ones are 2 and 2 twos are 4. Now here we get 1 upon 2, then 3 ones are 3 and 3 twos are 6. Now here we get 1 upon 2. So because in the both side here we get 1 upon 2 and 1 upon 2, so here we put equal symbol because these four fractions are equal. Now after that, and dear student, in these type of question you write the complete solution of this question. Okay, so here we write the solution of this question. So first we write these both fraction here. Now students, in these type of question, here we take a LCM of these both number 5 and 3, and after that we make denominator equal to LCM, right? 5 comma 3. So first we divide this number by 3, then we write 5 as it is here, 3 ones are 3, then 5 ones are 5, right? The LCM of these both number 3 5s are 15. So here we make denominator equal to 15. And how many times 15 come in a table of 5? 3 times. So if we multiply these both fraction by 3, and after that we multiply, because 3 5s is 15, so if we multiply these both numerator and denominator by 5. Now 3 3s are 9 and 5 3s are 15, and here 2 5s are 10 and 3 5s are 15. So here we get 9 upon 15 and 10 upon 15. So out of these two fractions, which one is greater? 10 upon 15 is greater. So here we say that here 3 upon 5 and 2 upon 3. So 2 upon 3 is greater as compared to 3 upon 5. Now students, if there is any other question related to this concept, so here we apply the same rule and we write the complete solution of these type of question. Now here we take another example and another question. So now here we write 3 upon 4 and 2 upon 8, right? So now students, because here is 4 in denominator, and if we divide these both numbers numerator and denominator by 2, so here we get 4 in a denominator, like 2 ones are 2 and 2 fours are 8. So here we get 3 upon 4 and 1 upon 4. Now out of these two fractions, which one is greater? 3 upon 4 is greater as compared to 1 upon 4. So if we say that 3 upon 4 is greater as compared to 2 upon 8, right? After that you will solve GHIJK part in your book, right? And the sixth question is homework for you. So what you do here you find the simplest form these all fractions, and after that those fractions having the same value, you make a separate row for the different fractions, right? Now question number 8. Ila read 25 pages of a book containing 100 pages and Lalita read 2 upon 5 of the same book. Who read less? So here first we write the given values here. So here we write total number of pages. Total number of pages is equal to 100, right? After that we write Ila read 25 pages and Lalita read 2 upon 5 of 100. So here we find 2 upon 5 of 100. So here we write 2 upon 5 multiply by 100. So 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 10. So here we get 40 pages. So now here we comprise 25 or 40. Which one is greater? 40 pages. So here we write hence Ila read less pages. Okay students. Now you try to solve question number 9 and 10 in your rough notebook. And you will copy down this all work in your fair notebook. Definition of like and unlike fractions.